folks, and welcome back to Glenn and Adrian's Rock Talk. That's Adrian.
And that's Glenn.
And we're here today just as kind of an informational video today, kind of a PSA. We're going to talk about the Blue Ridge Rock Fest, which happened earlier this month in Alton, Virginia, which is right on the border with North Carolina, just a little bit to the east of Danville. There was a lot of problems this year. In fact, it may have had the most problems of any festival in recent memory. And that comes from people that worked there as well as many of the festival goers. It's become a major news item. If you already know about this event, I don't think that anything in this video is going to give you new information because I don't see that anything has changed in 2 weeks. There's been a clamoring for refunds. They promised refunds way back when the festival was still happening or was still getting cleaned up when it was supposed to be happening. And they're already selling tickets for 2024, which seems pretty inappropriate. There are questions about whether or not that particular location is any good or not to do anymore because it's a little remote. We'll get into it all. Let me first give you a little bit of a breakdown. So it was supposed to go from Thursday the 7th to Monday the 11th. And they had pre-party stuff going on the Wednesday before. And there were a lot of campers coming in that day to set up, since Thursday was going to be a complete day. So Wednesday, the camping ran out early. Still lots and lots of people trying to get in. Festival hasn't even started yet. And they're out of spaces, so they have to create more. And so that takes time. And so if you arrived after Wednesday afternoon, you were in for quite a wait.
At 3:30 p.m., we arrived in Milton, North Carolina. Basically 4:30 a.m., we finally back into our spot.
I had a friend, got there at 9:30 that night, on Wednesday night. He had to wait 9 hours to get stuff in, so he finally got settled at 6:30 in the morning.
If you weren't camping, you were parking. And if you were parking in a lot that was 6 miles away. So you can't just walk there. What you had to do was get a shuttle bus. And a lot of people didn't realize this till they got there, that it was absolutely necessary. You're going to have to buy a shuttle bus. They don't even like seeing you walking on the road, and security would hassle people for that. They get there, realize that they're going to need $50 for a shuttle pass per person.
This is the line.
No, God!
To get to the bus.
No, God, please, no!
Now we get to wait in line for probably 4 hours to get on the bus to go back to the parking lot.
Talking about security not letting people walk down the road to get to the venue. I wonder if many people tried to walk back to the parking lot and got in trouble for that.
The attendants there and security generally had no idea what was going on, according to numerous fan reporting. The security checkpoints, once it got later on, middle of the night, because it was taking so long, they would just let people through without a security check.
What is supposed to happen when you go through check-in? Have you step out of the vehicle, ask you if you have any glass, weapons, or illegal drugs, and they're supposed to search your car. That is not what happened. They made me roll down the window behind me in my car, so behind the driver's seat. They shined a flashlight in there and said goodbye.
There were supposed to be 12 water stations inside the venue. There was one. And it had 12 water spigots, but that doesn't count. There was another one, but it was in the VIP lounge. And so if you were just a concert goer, you couldn't use that one.
I fill up my water bottle and start drinking it as we're walking to the other side of the venue. By the time we get there, I already drank all my water again, so it was gone. Instantly, I'm feeling like I need more water. After about 10 minutes of laying down, I tell my friends that, I really, really need more water, so I'm going to go walk back to this entire time. People are getting wheeled off to EMS in golf carts, dehydration, heat exhaustion, whatever. There's people passed out. I make it back to the water station after about a 15-minute walk, and they run out of water.
And this was record temperatures, as it turned out. That's not something that they can control. In Virginia, that week was absolutely brutal. So not enough water. It's not enough water. Super, super hot out. So you could buy a bottle of water for $4 or maybe even $7 if you're really lucky, depending on who you ask for, because it turns out food and water, all the vendors had to pay half of their returns to the festival.
2 pieces of pizza was going to cost you about $26.
So not very good. But also not a whole lot of motivation to have enough water on scene, it would seem. But, seems like a conflict of interest there to have too many water stations. And so on Thursday, they had a true weather disaster. Nobody saw it coming. There's no cell phone signal in this place because it's in a remote area. You've got 50,000 people out there. So you couldn't even go to the website to find out what's going on. And so it was completely disorganized. There was no talking amongst the staff about what was going on. There was no info being passed on to them. The actual staff on the ground, for the most part, were doing their best. So this weather event, it's super hot out. All of a sudden, the skies open up. There's a little rain, and then there's a lot of rain, and then there's hurricane winds coming in and blowing all the tents away of the campers that just set up and had to wait all night to get a camping spot.
Are we in a tornado? Holy shit.
Blew everything away for the most part, except for those lucky people that had heavy stuff in their tents so that the tent couldn't blow away. So there's hail. Suddenly there's hail. It's a complete, major, serious, potentially life-threatening storm with lightning, and they're out there in the middle of a field, tall trees everywhere, and they say, okay, the concert is now suspended. Go back to your cars. We've got a serious, severe weather emergency here. So what do you think happens? Because everybody's parked 6 miles away, and the campgrounds just got blown away. So there you have 50, 60,000, or however many were there that day. It was Thursday, so it's probably a little less than that, because there were no problems with people getting turned away. That was Friday. We'll talk about that. But now there's nowhere to go. And there's a colossal storm, very dangerous storm happening, and people are getting pelted by the hail, and they're like, geez. This is happening, and it became clear quickly that they had no way to deal with this emergency situation. They did not have an evacuation plan that was going to work out. What happened was everybody went and waited for the shuttles under tall trees for lines stretching a mile or more, and then coming back hours and hours just to get back to your cars. It just made very clear that they were not ready. Anyway, so that was Thursday. Friday came along. They had a full day on Friday. The problem was that they had oversold the event, according to a lot of people that were there. That's the allegation. Okay. You get into the afternoon, which is when most people are showing up because they really just want to see the headliners later on. That's kind of how these festivals go. And people are getting turned away. Even people that have tickets in hand, they might even have a campsite ticket. And like, here I am to camp. And they're like, nope, sorry. And at some point, this kind of evolved into a story about the weather again. Like, we can't let people in. We're canceling the rest of the day. That's what one security guard said to one fan.
Another 2.5 hours we've been waiting in that line. We see a bunch of people coming back. And so we asked one of the people. They said that the show was canceled because they got word of another thunderstorm. So me and one of my friends, we went up to the security guards and we're like, yo, is this true? Like, is the show canceled? He said, yes. He said there was a thunderstorm warning, that they were evacuating the venue, meaning all the people in the venue, they were getting them out. That's what he told us. Nobody could get cell reception. Once we got to a place where we could get signal, we start looking on the Facebook thing. They're posting videos of Flyleaf plan. The fucking security guards said they were evacuating the venue. So we're like, what the fuck? These security guards just lied to us.
The thing was, this concert was still going on just as planned. There were people in there. It was absolutely jammed in there. People that got in were lucky. So people that had camped and then the few that had gotten in before they kind of shut the doors. There you are. You've bought this festival ticket and Thursday didn't go well if you got there at all before the storm. And then Friday, you're locked out because they oversold. I told you what was going on with the staff. By Saturday, there's a little bit more weather, a little bit of rain. Soon after that, they announce, well, Saturday is canceled because we're concerned about more weather coming. There was no more weather coming. The stagehands were threatening to strike.
Jesse Barker worked the festival and says crews faced a multitude of poor conditions.
And we just wanted working showers, we wanted a water station at our campsite, and we had set a deadline with the list of the demands, by 5 p.m. Saturday, or we're cutting everything off, and they canceled the festival right before 5 on Saturday.
Organizers claimed they canceled the festival due to severe weather. National Weather Service data shows one thunderstorm Saturday at 1 p.m. and overcast skies the rest of the weekend.
To say that it was canceled due to weather was kind of odd.
And so 80% of them left. These are the people that set up all the stages and that were actually helping to set up bands who had huge pieces of gear. There was a band called Electric Callboy that played on Friday. They've got a manager, tour manager actually for this one, but a guy named Tank the Tech who's got his own YouTube channel. And he talked about this. He said he had set up all the logistics ahead of time. When you're a touring band, you have to tell them what you need, what your requirements are for power, things like that. Like this band had 3 very large video screens that were 1,500 pounds apiece. They couldn't get anywhere near the stage to offload the stuff. What they had to do was park kind of near the entrance, which isn't where they had said they were going to park and where it had been set up. Like they'd communicated everything they needed, got there, and absolutely nobody knew what to do with them. They needed a forklift and a flatbed truck to pull their stuff over to the stage, which was like a mile away from where they are. And they have to go back and they have to wait like an hour to get this thing because apparently the whole festival has like one forklift for 40 bands or more, one flatbed. And I don't know how all the other bands did it. Not a good situation. So even the bands had problems. It wasn't just the fans. Porta potties might never have been cleaned for the whole time. There was one guy that said that he thinks that the porta potty near him probably serviced about 300 people, the one porta potty, stuff like that.
That's horrible.
Yeah. So anyway, after the...
I probably wouldn't put up with it.
Yeah, I know. It's crazy.
Like I mentioned before, I probably would have started walking down the road back to the parking lot.
Well, that's the thing. Yeah. But it would take you 2 hours. So, yeah, after the staff walked out at 5 o'clock on Saturday, that's when they sent out the note, 5:03, I understand, to all the festival goers saying, sorry, all over. There's nothing tomorrow either. Go home. And they were like, oh, we're so sorry. This is weather related. They didn't say anything about the strike or anything. They just said, we have to cancel because we're afraid of the weather. Of course, it was beautiful, perfect festival weather from that moment on. Make your own conclusions. Okay, so with all of that said, let me just mention, I went to Bonnaroo one year, which is similar. I don't know how many of you out there have been tempted to go to these festivals if you don't already go. I know it looks tempting. It kind of looks like a Woodstock with multiple stages whenever these festivals go up. They happen every year all over the country, all different genres. Now, Bonnaroo was in Tennessee, not far from Nashville, I think about an hour south, and it was hot. Let me tell you, it was mid-June, and it was roasting hot that weekend. I went with a bunch of friends with an RV, so we were luckier than a lot of people. This is like human endurance stuff.
It's just downright dangerous to be in that kind of heat and no water.
Yeah, it's unconscionable. They have to have water, in that situation. There's no excuse. Clearly, there was a financial motivation not to have a whole lot of free water around. So Bonnaroo was cool. It was hot. There was one day that the skies opened up and suddenly it was kind of similar, but not much lightning. It was just a little bit of rumble, not much. There was no hail. It just rained like mad for about 45 minutes and cold rain. And I was near one of the stages and they actually cleared the water off the top of the stage, pushing a board up to get the water off there because it's heavy, after a storm like that. And I was close enough to the front, it came right down on me. And everybody else in the vicinity. That was the one hiccup. The thing is that it was a whole lot easier to get back to your car at Bonnaroo or your campsite. You didn't need a shuttle. That's ridiculous. First of all, any festival where there's going to be a shuttle between the parking lot and the festival, don't go. Just don't go. So here we are on the Blue Ridge Rockfest website. This part about the shuttle. Yes, we are currently working on securing a vendor for the 2023 festival. So they didn't even bother to go back and update the website, because clearly they had one by the time the festival started. People need this information. And it says nothing about it's going to cost you $50.
No, it doesn't.
So here's the general fact. This little graphic here, I don't know how well you can see that. That's the map.
All right, that's the map, the main entrance.
Yeah. So you got the main entrance over here, and then you've got a stage over here. You got a stage over here. You have one hydration station. They had promised 12, and it's over here in the corner, kind of behind the trees. It's like kind of hidden away so nobody can find it. There is a second one, but this is a VIP area, so you're not supposed to go in here. And kind of galling here is that while they're still not talking about refunds, they are saying, go ahead and buy tickets for 2024, everybody.
After that?
Yeah, exactly. Wow. Like, take a look here. Tickets, 2024 festival tickets. Pre-sale happening now. Anyway, so there you go. Add tickets to whatever, Rockstar package up to 2,000, You can add VIP, I guess. Yeah, it's kind of like, hey, the Gall, guys, if you were to take a look again at that map we were just looking at, what do you do in an emergency? So this actually happened at the Virginia International Raceway. Happened here. So here we are. Okay, I believe it all happened within this area. And as you can see, not much going on. Like the closest thing is Danville, which is a small town. I mean, it's bigger than these others, but it's not a big place. It's like a mid-sized town in the middle of nowhere. Good gosh. Actually, it's nowhere near anything in any major cities in North Carolina either, unless you drive for quite a while. That's a long way. So there's nothing out there. So if you have an emergency and everybody's in here, where are they going to go? Got to go hide under the trees? You can't do that. There's lightning,
Right.
I hope the Attorney General does look into this situation, because I would have been so mad. I know that. I mean, these wait times are astronomical. I can't even imagine. So, not to mention everything else and this lack of safety protocols. So I would certainly not consider personally ever going to the Blue Ridge Rockfest. Something doesn't add up here. I think there were a lot of bad decisions made even before they started talking to vendors. Terrible communication. We can even see right now on their very website today.
Yeah, well, this one rock festival, I'm glad I wasn't there.
Yeah, I think a lot of people feel that way, Yeah. So fair warning. I mean, they can be fun, but boy, I would not recommend to be out there in the elements for 4 days. You better love what you're getting into and know fully it's going to be a chore, perhaps. Be ready for that.
Know the risks.
Yeah. Or just go to Vegas, go see somebody's residency indoors. Anyway, so I thought this was a good tale of woe to pass along to everybody, just for their edification. And if you enjoyed this video, please give us a like. If you've had any situations like this, please share them below. Any festivals that went awry, we'd love to hear about it. And if you wouldn't mind subscribing, if you enjoyed our presentation, please do so. We're getting close to 500. I would love to have you along for the ride. We have a lot of fun making these vids, and I hope they're useful. All right, so with that, I think we're going to bid you adieu for now, and we'll see you soon. All right, take care, folks.
See you later.